5 Creepy Halloween Horror Stories. Story number 1, The Halloween Killer. Picture this, it's Halloween 2010, and a college freshman is out playing soccer with friends. They notice an SUV driving by several times but don't think much of it. Later that night, they head to a party, oblivious to the horror unfolding nearby. As they're partying, police sirens and helicopters swarm the area. Our storyteller misses all the commotion, only to learn the horrifying truth the next day. A woman's body was found in a burning SUV just half a mile from campus. Here's where it gets really creepy. The killer? It was the woman's husband. He broke her neck, beat her, then tried to cover it up by setting the car on fire. And that SUV our freshman saw earlier? Yep, you guessed it. The killer was driving around campus with his wife's body in the car. Talk about a Halloween nightmare. Imagine being that close to a murderer and not even knowing it. It just goes to show, you never know what kind of monsters might be lurking on Halloween night. Story number 2, The Creepy Halloween Visitor. Our next tale takes place on Halloween night. 2 siblings are stuck at home, handing out candy. Around 10 p.m., there's a knock at the door. But instead of cute trick-or-treaters, they find a sketchy guy in a black hoodie. This dude is bad news from the get-go. He's shaking, his hands are stuffed in his pockets, and he's way too old to be trick-or-treating. Smart kids, they don't open the door. But then things take a turn for the worse. The man starts asking if they're alone and mocking them. They threaten to call the cops, and he finally takes off. But the real horror comes the next day when they learn an elderly neighbor was brutally murdered that same night. The kicker? The killer was never caught. Talk about a close call. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes, the scariest monsters aren't the ones in costumes. Story number 3, The Persistent Phantom. Let's hop across the pond to Scotland for our next spooky tale. Halloween isn't as big a deal there, but for one person, it became unforgettable. They're getting ready to go out when the first trick-or-treaters come to the door. Among the kids is a tall figure in black with a mask. Nothing too weird, right? Wrong. After the kids leave, this figure stays behind, just staring at our storyteller. When their mom comes to check, the figure vanishes. But the story doesn't end there. Later that night, they spot the same creepy figure sitting on their fence, waving to keep the motion sensor light on. Talk about persistent. Luckily, their parents come home and scare the creep away. Was it a prankster taking things too far? Or something more sinister? Either way, it's enough to make anyone think twice about answering the door on Halloween. Story number 4, Bloody Mary's Revenge. Our 4th tale brings us to a Halloween party in London. A parent is looking for their 7-year-old son and finds him laughing in a wardrobe. The kid says he's playing with Mary. Cute, right? Just an imaginary friend. But later that night, things take a dark turn. The parent finds a message written in lipstick on their mirror. You're wrong. I am real. I am Bloody Mary. Freaked out, they rush to check on their son, only to find him covered in scratches. The boy shouts, I hate you. This wouldn't have happened if you said that she was real. Talk about a parent's worst nightmare. Is it just a prank gone too far? Or did they accidentally summon something truly evil? This story is a stark reminder that some urban legends might have more truth to them than we'd like to believe. Maybe think twice before playing Bloody Mary at your next Halloween party. Story number 5, The Haunted House in the Philippines. Our final tale takes us to the Philippines on Halloween 2004. Our storyteller is visiting family, hanging out and listening to music. Suddenly, the stereo volume drops to 0 on its own. Creepy, but it gets worse. They start hearing echoes of movie scenes they'd watched earlier, like something was mimicking the sounds. Objects start flying off shelves. The house seems to be haunted by some angry spirit that doesn't want them there. But here's the real kicker, this isn't just a one-time thing. Apparently, lots of people have had weird experiences in this house. Nannies have quit without notice, too scared to even collect their last paycheck. It's a reminder that sometimes, the scariest hauntings aren't the ones we seek out in haunted houses, but the ones that find us when we least expect it. So there you have it. 5 Halloween horror stories to keep you up at night. And hey, if you've got your own spooky Halloween story, why not share it in the comments? We'd love to hear what kind of creepy encounters you've had on this most haunted of nights. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.